Continuing on with my brief and very unprofitable acting career. All right, so I registered my domain at 10:18 and at 10:40. So not too much later, I got a verification that my domain had been successfully registered. And let's see, I should have another window here. Uh, and I was actually watching the pending request window, and it disappeared. And I thought, oh no, I've been denied. This is awful. But then I just went over to register domains, and it appeared. Okay, so I have a pretty good idea of what comes next now. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this, and here's some information. Okay, so the first thing that my eye jumps to over here is the name servers. Now, technically, there's not really going to be any entries in there. These are bona fide real domain names that on port 53, UDP for port 53, they're running a service a database service that allows people to look for the IP address of kettlesdonuts.com on any of those databases. Now, right now, there's no entry in any of those databases, but that's where the databases will be, redundant copies of them. So what I need to do now is create something called an address record, an A record, in order to have something be in there so that they can find my domain name by IP address. So I click Manage DNS, and it takes me to this page. And again, I've never registered with Amazon before, but the ideas are the same. That's why we take data communications classes. We get the big ideas, and then it doesn't really matter which service we use. We know what it is that we're looking to do. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it again, and I come in here, and I see some information about the DNS servers that are listed, something right here about the start of authority. So this all kind of relates to my domain and my domain records. But what's important is I need to get some record in there that's useful. So what I don't see is any A record yet. So I'm going to click Create Record Set. I'm going to cross my fingers and pray that this all works. Intellectually, I know how it's supposed to work, but if I'm doing it my first pass in an interface I haven't used before, I might miss something. Okay, so create record set. It's asking me what do I want to do, like www.kettles.com or kettlesdonuts.com or something else. Do I want this to be an alias? Blah blah blah. Okay. One thing that I'm aware of is that there's typically kind of like your base domain name. So if you enter in the domain name without any www or anything, so you usually set up one address to be the record associated with your IP address, and then all the other stuff can potentially be an alias to that. We call that a CNAME record. So right now I want to create my base record. Hopefully that doesn't sound confusing. What? There's more than one way to do this? Okay. Anyway, let's just get things working with an IP address. I think I'm going to try to leave this blank, and it says add in a value. It says here's some examples of what you might type in. Well, hot dogs. That's exactly what I want to do. So I'm going to go down here, and then I'll type in 136.36.197.56. Okay, so I have entered that in. I'm going to click Create, and there it is. I hope that works. I have another idea in my head, which is I want to do www.kettlesdonuts.com, and I want that to be an alias, and I want the target to be kettlesdonuts.com. So basic, like I said before, you can have a mapping of a domain name to an IP address, and then you can kind of create like little subdomains and things like that, and they all just kind of redirect using this thing called a CNAME record to the A record. So I can have a million CNAME aliases that all go to another, that all point to one single record, which is the IP address record. All right, so hopefully that works. Okay, we got a couple things in there. I've got an A record. This one says it's an A record, but it's not actually an A record. That's actually a CNAME record, an alias, and it's going to go to this other record up there. All right, so having done that, let's just see if this works on the internet yet. And the answer should be no. So if I type in kettlesdonuts.com, what? It worked that fast? That's insane. Okay, well, that kind of ruins what I was going to try to show you. I was going to try to show you that if I go ns lookup kettlesdonuts.com, what this is saying is that it looked up at this server, which I can't correctly interpret because it's an IPv6 address. It went to this, which should be my internet service provider's or my Google Fiber router's IP address. That's the thing that's going to look up the record for me, the DNS record out there on the public databases. And what it got back was this and this. So oftentimes that doesn't happen that fast. Sometimes historically it could be hours or days. Let me try something else. DNS, let's see, Ultra Tools DNS Traversal. Okay. So in terms of the global system of DNS databases, I'm curious about what's going on right now. So I'll type in kettlesdonuts.com. And oh man, I can't believe that everything actually went through that fast. What a world we live in. Well, in class I'm going to talk about this idea of a root level server and then the top level domain servers. The top level domain servers all have for .com all have an entry in there saying which name servers they can go into to look for the IP address associated with this domain. And this is kind of a repeat of that right here. This domain name then can be, its IP address can be found in any of these name servers. And by their name, I can see that these are AWS name servers. So we've done it. We have successfully, over the course of, in total about 25 minutes, maybe 5 minutes worth of real work, got this domain name associated with the IP address that I looked up earlier. And let's just try adding a www in front of this. It looks like it looks like that is working. But if I type in something else that I haven't created yet, like Bob, that is not going to work. In theory, I could set that up, but I could set it up either as an alias or a subdomain. That's a topic for another day. But good news is everything's working, quick and easy. Now you can do it too.